What up? Welcome back to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones, and in this one, we're going to take a look at the next figure that I will be adding to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now, of course, this is the Red Sun Superman. If you don't know, this is actually a character that comes from the Elseworld stories, where instead of Superman landing in Kansas with the Kents, he lands in Russia with the commies. So it's a completely different take on Superman. Now, you can read the story, the graphic novels. You can try and pick up the figures from DC Direct, which were actually some beautiful, beautiful figures with beautiful sculpt work. Actually, I wanted to pick those up. I just never pulled the trigger on them. The Batman is really interesting from this story. He's kind of like a rebel going up against the communist control. So it's pretty gritty and pretty dark. You also have Wonder Woman in this story. But those figures are really awesome. If you could ever pick them up, I would say go ahead and pick them up still, even though they're pretty old and DC Direct is no longer around. But those are some great figures. They also recently released that Red Sun Superman animated movie, which not one of my favorites, but it was good. They had to try and like condense the story and omit a bunch of details and parts that you actually get from the storyline. But it's okay. It's an okay watch. I do not dislike it. It is good, but like I say, it just differs from the actual storyline that it's based on. Like, one of the main things I liked from it was the Batman in it. He's just awesome. And in the story, I mean, it's hard to say it once again, but Batman is like the best part of the story. I mean, one of the better elements of the story. Even though the Russian Superman, he's conflicted because he deep down he knows what's right. So he's it's a crazy story. But let's get into the figure. McFarlane released this Red Sun Superman. Now, when we first got the promo pictures for it, I thought it was pretty awesome. I'm just scared that we won't get any other figures from that story. An all-white Wonder Woman would be awesome. So would the Batman figure. But I kind of have my feelings that it's not going to happen. But he is an alternate Superman with a really cool look. And I'll be happy to put him up on the shelf next to my other McFarlane Superman. But of course, he looks great in the package. Let's go ahead and unleash him and check him out. Now, to break apart from the usual, in this one you do receive a clear flight stand. Now you can just use the stand as is with a peg, or you can snap it together and get a pretty cool flight stand for your collection. He does come with his data file card. Pretty awesome image of him on top of the hammer and sickle. And then you go to the back and there is some information. Pretty cool. Add that to the collection. Now he does come with two alternate hands. Now one is like a kind of a holding hand and one is a fist. Now, I think the best thing you could do with this holding hand is get him like a little flag where he could like hold it, like a little Russian flag. I mean, that's what you could use it for. I would have preferred two fists, but McFarlane still has yet to give us two fists for our Superman, so it is what it is. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Now, this is basically the same body sculpt that was from the first Superman release. You could pretty much tell just by looking at it. He has the same upper body, the single jointed elbows, and the trunks and the boots. I mean, everything's the same. The only differences would be the cape and the head sculpt and the color scheme. taking a look at the head, definitely looks European. Definitely a different, like, if you look at the original Superman head, they kind of have a resemblance. This one just looks a little bit like, has darker features, like I say, like European features. His curl is really toned down, and the head sculpt is really good on this. I mean, the detail, the shading, I really like it. It's really good. And one thing they did fix is he does look down, but he also looks way up. He looks really far up. I bet you if you Dremel out this one, it's gonna like look way like straight like straight up. So coming down to the chest, you have that awesome emblem on his chest. He does have pretty cool. I mean, the articulation between the chest and the waist and the trunks is just awesome. The way you can get all kind of curves and twists. I really appreciate that. And then let's go to the arms. He has the same articulation, the butterfly shoulder joint, the single joint elbow. I mean, this elbow, it doesn't reach all the way back, which is like the articulation you would want, but the elbow one that they actually gave it looks really like, it doesn't break up the sculpt, and like an elbow pops out there at the 90 degrees. It's pretty good for what it is. Going down to the hands now, they did change one part, and that is that before the peg, the wrist peg, the wrist ball joint, they would make it the color of the sleeve, but this time they actually made it flesh tone, so it like smooths in nicely into the hand. And then of course you have that McFarlane wrist joint where you could get articulation up and down, which is always nice. Now going down to the trunks, they are just the Superman ones. The color scheme is really nice. It's a jet black with a red little buckle. Moving down to the legs. Now I just barely got this out of the package. He does have double jointed knees. Really like the smoothness there. No sticking of joints or anything. No paint flaking, nothing like that, which is awesome. Going down to the feet, of course you have the McFarlane ball joint, and if you twist it you could get rocker. And then of course he has toe articulation. Looking down from the bottom, he has really no tread, just some like design in there. And up the back is pretty plain, but he does have this cool hard sculpted cape, and it is shorter and more compressed than the original release. It actually looks really good. It really fits with him. Now, articulation aside, the sculpt work here is awesome. The new paint deco is great, and I just really like this figure. I mean, I'm not a big Superman fan. I mean, he's good, but I really like this figure. This just gives us like a variation of a character that we might not ever think we would get. And I'm really happy with some of the stuff that McFarlane's doing with the multiverse. Now let's just see where it goes into the future. My shelf is getting pretty stuffed. I did have to add another tier at the bottom so that I could get another level of figures in there. And basically by the time we hit the Batman Beyond wave, this thing is going to be filled. So I'm going to have to figure out something, how to get more space. We'll have to check it out. I might end up having to rearrange the whole thing just to get more figures, but it's a good problem to have when you're trying to find space for new figures. So really like this Superman. Let's take a quick comparison. We'll put him next to the original Superman release from McFarlane. And then on the other side, let's go ahead and throw in the infected Superman just to see the height and the difference in thickness between each figure. Stay safe out there, keep collecting, and I will see you on the next one.